But it does look like an acorn. Oh, look at that. It looks like an acorn. I don't know what it is. I'm taking it out. Hi guys, it's the Spirited Traveler. Welcome back to my channel. Anyway, I'm making sorrel today, and in case you hadn't heard of it, sorrel is mostly found in the Caribbean. Again, I came to it by its Jamaican roots. So I have a really good writer friend who she's Jamaican, and she was making sorrel one Christmas, and she put it on Facebook, and I said, hey, what are you making? And she said, this is sorrel. I said, oh yeah, I've heard of that stuff. This is before I had tasted it. I said, how do you make it? She goes, oh, my mother's here and she's making it for me, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, she sent me some dried sorrel leaves in the mail, and she sent me a recipe. So I have been playing around with sorrel recipes since then. I generally stick to the same recipe, and that recipe is actually on my website. I will drop the name of the post that I have it at the bottom of this somewhere. But today, because I'm making a slightly larger volume than I normally make, I'm going to play with it a bit. Making sorrel is also like a good soul food recipe. Everybody makes it different, so each family kind of has their own different twist on it. Like if you do a Google search on it, you will find some people put orange peels in it. Some people put what is it? Star anise in it. Actually, you know what? I may try some of that this time. Some people put pimento seeds in it. Some people don't. Some people put cloves in it. Some people don't. Some people put both. Some people don't. It's just it pretty much depends on what you like, what you're used to. So I always make everything the first time strictly by the recipe, so I can see where I want to go from there, and I use that as my base. I don't think I've strayed too far from her original recipe, but I'm sure Nikki you'll chime in and let me know if I went too far off the rails. But I actually really love my sorrel, and everyone who's tasted it really likes it. That's enough of me talking. Let's get going. Some dried hibiscus, and I will also put a link down below. You can either order this off the internet, or if you have a good international market in your city, you can go and get some there. Again, it's dried sorrel. It's the same as dried hibiscus leaves. And this is a little bit that I have left over that my friend sent me from Atlanta, and I found it in the back of the cabinet. I forgot I had it up there. So I'm gonna use this and this. A nice chunk of ginger. I really love ginger. I like the spiciness, I like the bite of it. Add as much as you would like. I would recommend you add at least 2 inches. This is a nice solid, easily 2.5, 3-inch piece probably. Plus I have a little extra knob over here. Again, I love my ginger. I have cinnamon sticks. I have some allspice here, and I have some cloves. I'm using 3 cinnamon sticks this time. I think I have in there maybe 10 cloves, and I think about 7 allspice or pimento seeds. It's another term for them. So what I'm going to do is get to grating my ginger now, and then I will be back. I got my ginger all grated up, and these are just the pieces that I didn't want to risk scraping my fingers over. I just throw those in whole. Got the cinnamon sticks there. I did go in and decide to pull a couple of pieces of star anise. Actually, it's about a star anise and a half. Since I really don't know exactly how this is going to impact the flavor, I'm going to start out small and just use roughly 1.5 of star anise. Well, because I've been grating the ginger, it's hard for me to tell what it smells like. It may be a little bit of licorice. Yeah, you know what, the name is anise. I'm pretty sure it's licorice. And of course, as I showed you earlier, these are my cloves and my pimento seeds or allspice. I have about 7 pimento seeds or allspice, and I believe I have about 10 cloves in there. So now let's get going. What you do now is you just take your water. I'm using 10 cups of water today on a gentle, slow warming. So I just take my sorrel. Oh, in case you want to see what it looks like. Some pieces to it. Just take my sorrel and pour it in there. I was not filming it properly. I'm going to take my spoon and just kind of, look at that. It is already red. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it has already turned this water red. Wow. That did not take any time at all. I hope the color pick comes up, but I can definitely see it in person. put that there. So now I'm gonna just pop in my star anise. I'm gonna pop in my cinnamon. Gonna pop in my allspice and my pimento seeds. And I'm gonna dump in all of this nice, fragrant, fresh ginger. And I'm gonna pop in all the end pieces that I refused to grate because I didn't want my fingers getting caught up in that nonsense. So you just kind of stir this around. And what we're gonna do is let this slowly warm. You don't want this to boil. Why you don't want this to boil, I don't know. So if you know why you don't want your sorrel to boil while it's warming, please comment below. Let me know why. But I know I've been looking at sorrel recipes and videos for the past couple of years, and the one thing most of them say is do not let this boil. Just let it come to like a slow warm up, I guess. It's pretty hot. It's not boiling hot, of course. You don't want this to boil, but you do want it to get hot. You do see this. I did see the steam rolling off of it, so I did cut it off. So now phase one is done. All the ingredients in. You warm the water up, and that's it. So now you just put the lid on it, and you pop it in the refrigerator because it does have to sit for a full 24 hours. So there. Well, the sorrel has been soaking overnight, and it's best to let this sit for a minimum of 8 hours or up to overnight. I generally let mine sit overnight just to extract the most from the most flavor that I possibly can get from the spices that I put in there. And now I'm going to go strain this. I strain my sorrel over the sink always because this is highly staining, so be careful once you start straining it. As you can see, even though I've gotten most of the liquid out, there's still quite a bit in that can be squeezed out. So what I like to do is actually take handfuls of the hibiscus, squeeze it over the strainer, get absolutely as much of this out as I can, and then I discard what's in my hand. So once I strain my sorrel, what I like to do is put it back in the pot I originally had it marinating in or infusing in, and I like to gently warm it back up. I don't want it to get super hot. I just like it to get warm enough to dissolve the sugar. And this is a cup of sugar. Again, you know, use sugar to your tasting. If you like it sweet, or if you don't like it as sweet, of course, you know, adjust your sugar levels accordingly. And what I like to do is just stir this until all of the sugar is dissolved and incorporated. And then once my sugar is dissolved and incorporated, I turn the eye off and I let it cool down on its own. I let it sit here and chill out a little bit. My sorrel is done, and I generally enjoy my sorrel one of three ways: either as is, over some ice, or nice and chilled with no ice. It depends on what mood I'm in. Or I will add it to one of my cocktails I created called Love's Holiday. I just love that. Or number three, which is the more traditional way to booze this up, is to use an ounce or so. Well, I don't want to put any numbers on it. You put as much as you want in there of some Ray and Nephew's overproof Jamaican rum. And when I say this rum is overproof, this is some overproof rum. But in sorrel, it's delicious. So thank you guys for tuning in.